Hi, I'm Keith McCullough. Welcome back. I'm here with our head of tech, Craig Berger, to talk about a sell call we're making right here and now on Advanced Micro Devices, which is, of course, AMD. So, Craig, just kind of looking at the setup, which we always do, the risk management setup skews to the downside, upside maybe to $4.13, downside really to where the stock was after earnings. So do you think it could go back there?
I do. I mean, the stock has rallied essentially 15% following its earnings report as essentially hedge fund investors reload on the name and as hope springs eternal. The company's results and guidance were not inspiring. They have a lot of challenges in their core PC business, and that's still roughly 60% of revenues today. So there's meaningful risk to go.
Now, if you look at their top line results versus Intel, how did they look?
So in the second quarter, Intel's client PC business grew 9% sequential. AMD's business grew 1% sequential. And it's obviously that's not good. I mean, AMD has been cutting R&D spending for years. They've been pruning, and it's probably catching up with their core PC market right now as they're addressing a smaller segment of the market and with less competitive technology.
So sales are not good. The stock got absolutely hammered. That's why the setup looks like it looks, which looks terrible. How about inventories? Do they have anything going on there?
Inventory dollars grew 11% sequential in the second quarter. That's a red flag for us chip analysts. I mean, that's a lot of dollar growth.
Particularly when sales are up 1. I mean,
absolutely, and probably it's because sales didn't materialize as much as expected, but also guidance for the third quarter isn't that great. We expected more demand strength out of GPU game console products, and that's coming in a little bit weaker, and so they have excess inventory, not enough cash, not enough business, and the stock has just rallied 15%, essentially in no news.
And on no volume. So I see no volume, no dividend, no earnings. I mean, this is the kind of stock that on a day like today, when I'm looking for some beta, I dial up a guy like you and I say, what's overbought? And this is clearly one of them. Is there anything like remotely bullish here that we should be watching out for, like say ahead of NVIDIA's earnings or anything like that this week?
Right, so NVIDIA is set to report on Thursday. I mean, they're probably going to have solid results and guidance in the near term. You probably do have peaking momentum metrics in NVIDIA, but you know, for AMD, what you see is investors are excited about this embedded business. They're selling into game consoles, they're targeting other devices, they're targeting microservers, and so they've said that that business could grow from 20% of revenues today to 40 to 50% of revenues over time in the next 2 to 3 years. I think that's going to be a challenge. They have to get some big design wins to make that happen, but that is kind of what gets people excited about the story, and you know, visibility into that progress is just extremely low, and earnings power is kind of minimal.
So anything that's remotely weak as a read-through on graphics is negative for AMD?
Yes.
Effectively.
It's still a big piece of their business.
And on the shareholders, and this is just to kind of wrap things up, I was going through this. I mean, why does this, it looks like Mubadala Development Corp like they own 18% of the stock? Are they going to keep that?
They are going to keep it probably. I mean, they essentially bought AMD's fab network in exchange for a large cash infusion in 2008. And AMD has slowly sold the rest of the fab network to them. So they are long-term investors. They're in it to win it. But they own other chip companies. They own global foundries.
Right.
And so they are getting more into the high-tech world.
Okay, that's interesting. Well, the short call will get a lot more interesting if they sold any of their stock. So if you're looking at this one, right here and now is where we gave you the signal. Craig, of course, is bearish on the fundamentals. I'm bearish on the quantitative setup. If you have any questions, he's at Hedgeye Berger. I'm at Keith McCullough. Please tweet us.